So I made a video how to fix a Hyundai key back in June of 2020, and I kind of wanted to do a follow-up video just to show you how it's actually held up. And of course I can link the first video down below if you are interested. But in this video I'll just go through how this key has actually held up, because this shell and rubber keys here are actually not original. These are from Aliexpress, and my original Hyundai key, the rubber just worn off, or actually all the way through. If you go the official route, of course, through Hyundai, it is very expensive to get a new key. You have to get a completely new key. You cannot just fix the rubber part or whatever part of the key is broken. You have to pay for an entire new key. So I went online and found some new plastic shells here of Aliexpress, and also you can actually buy these rubber parts here alone. So just swap out that very inexpensively. I made a video about that, and a lot of people actually saw that video and found it useful. So this one here, I will just go through how this has actually held up. After using it for more than 2 years, actually closer to 2.5 years, I am recording this as of late November 2023. And my original video, like I said, was back in June 2020. So close to 3.5 years. And I've done nothing else to this key after that video. So this is the key shell and rubber and so on I got off Aliexpress, and this is how it actually looks after more than 3 years of usage. And I use my car regularly, not every day anymore, but definitely several times a week. And of course, locking and unlocking is those buttons you use most frequently. I don't really use the third key that much. It will just unlock the back door. I use, of course, mostly just the middle key and the top key here to lock and unlock. But anyways, let's just take a look at it physically first. And you can see there, the rubber still looks, I wouldn't say brand new, but it's definitely not in the same state as the original key from Hyundai, at least not yet, but maybe in time it will be. But I'm very surprised actually how well it has held up. So you can see there's no like wear through the rubber, and the actual labeling on the rubber has actually also held up quite well. So I am very impressed actually by the quality of this key shell from Aliexpress. Almost feels like it's a little bit better quality actually than the original one from Hyundai, strangely enough. I should just note that the only part that's still original from the original key is this part here and the key itself, because my key didn't fit inside the key housing of that shell I got off Aliexpress, so I had to repurpose this part here where it actually is attached inside the shell, but rest of the key here. So the chrome around here, which is also made of metal like the original one, you can see it has worn out a little bit there, of course, where my key ring is inside. I have that Hyundai logo there, which also is not looking all that great anymore. But other than that, like the chroming itself, when you take it in and out of your pocket and so on, is still held up quite well, I would say. Of course, a little bit scratched up and so on. But yeah, very, very impressed by the quality of that. Only real issue I have, if that's really an issue, you can see it's starting to sag a little bit here, so it's not holding itself completely in place. I wouldn't really say it's something I notice. Only from time to time I find the key sticking out a little bit here, and it's not like it's attaching anything in my pocket or like ruining in my pocket or anything like that. It's not really an issue. Sometimes when I'm not pressing the keys firmly enough or all the way down, let me see if I can actually demonstrate this. But yeah, you can see there, it kind of gets stuck from time to time, but you kind of just have to press a little spring there a little bit firmly, and it will just spring out. And of course, I can just loop it a little bit in here. I have done nothing of that nature at all. I just kind of wanted to see how well it actually held up. But yeah, still working just fine. So opening and closing just fine. Locks itself in place, still works just fine. So all of that is still working. I wouldn't say like brand new, but still is holding up very well, at least to the point where I'm not really considering getting a new shell or use the other shell I actually also bought. On the back side here, some of the black coloring have scratched off the Hyundai logo, and there was nothing really on this label anymore. Used to have some text, not really in relation to the key, but it was just a label that was included with the non-genuine one from Aliexpress. And of course this part is what you remove if you want to replace the battery. I'm still on the original battery, and I've had this car, was it like 9 years now or something like that? But other than that, I can't really fault this plastic shell from Aliexpress, and also just the rubber part here if you only really want to replace this, because that's probably the first point of failure. Very easy, just remove all this rubber here and glue the new one in place. Very inexpensive way to do that, and not really all that hard to do. All buttons still, of course, feels quite well to press them. Don't really have anything wrong with that. I'm not really sure if I'm actually opening or closing my car right now, but buttons feel definitely like they always have. so no problems there. So I'm very impressed actually by this rubber. I wasn't really expecting it to hold this long actually. To be honest, that's also one of the reasons why I bought several of these key shells, and also I bought extra of these rubber parts, but as of yet, I have not really had any use for those. So it'll be interesting to see how long this will actually last. But to my eyes, it doesn't really seem like it's going to break anytime soon. So other than just normal wear and tear, like I said, for the springiness of the key, you can see there it didn't open all the way up there. Kind of have to press it down a little bit firmly and then it will just spring up. But other than that, I have no issues with these non-genuine shells of Aliexpress, or just the rubber parts that you can replace if you have issues like I had with mine. So yeah, definitely this does get a big thumbs up from me. Just so much more inexpensive compared to like buying a complete new key out of Hyundai. This is only a few dollars. Of course, link down in the description below if you're interested in either just getting the shell or the rubber part there. You can just go to Aliexpress and see who of the sellers actually have them at the lowest price. Currently, I cannot recommend this enough. Just such an easy and inexpensive way of fixing your keys and making it almost brand new again. But that's pretty much all I have for this video. Hope to see you again in a future one. Until then, take care.